to today's Changing Your Mindset video. In this video, we're going to talk about the mindset that you need to do more exercise in order to lose more weight or more body fat. So you want to watch this video if you are a little bit unsure around how much exercise you should be doing in order to lose some body fat or to lose some weight. And if you've ever been told that in order to lose more weight or lose more body fat, you just need to do more exercise. Because let me break it down in simple terms, that's not true. That is incorrect advice. And in order to lose more weight or more body fat, it's not quite as simple as you just need to do more. So I've heard this one in the past, particularly from people who say that they are eating as best they can and they are being as restrictive as they can on food. And then they're training as hard as they can. So they feel like, they need to lose more weight. So in order to lose more weight or lose more body fat, to them at that stage, it just means do more exercise. This is wrong. Quite often what happens is you've been in a calorie deficit if you've been restricting your calories for a really long time, and your body's kind of bumbling around and it's maintaining. And generally what you need to do at that point is actually start to feed your body more food, bring calories back up, and then change the type of training you're doing. Probably 9 times out of 10 by actually reducing the amount of training you're doing and trying to bring the body back up to a good energy balance or good energy level base. And then you go again, start to reduce the calories and increase the exercise. So this whole mentality of to lose more, you need to do more is actually quite a negative mindset, and it leads to quite a lot of negative attitudes, and it leads to quite a lot of negative relationships with ourselves and actually with training in general. So when you are spending hours and hours a day training, you really do start to undergo a sense of body dissatisfaction because you're not seeing the results, and quite often you start to feel really fatigued. You're never giving your body a chance to recover, and you start to sacrifice social events. You start to sacrifice time spent with family. You start to sacrifice just maybe cooking good food or relaxing. It doesn't always have to be doing something. Sometimes it's just from doing nothing, because you're so focused on you need to keep doing more to lose more weight. And it is a really dangerous place to get to when you are in that state. And the more you tell yourself, I need to do more to lose more, the closer you fall into that dark and deep place of overtraining, putting too much stress on your body and then not allowing enough time to recover or leaving enough time to actually have adaptive change. So when you are overtraining, you lead to burnout, you lead to adrenal fatigue. This is through to too much stress on your body and a lot of sleep deprivation sometimes. You also put your body under so much stress at this point that it just stops responding. It can only take so much, your body, and when you don't spend time looking after yourself, your mind, pulling back and really evaluating how much activity you're doing, you never see the effects that you want to see. Quite often as well in this situation is people are wanting to try and shape their muscle or gain a little bit of muscle tone, and you're never going to tone muscle by overtraining. You're going to tone muscle and shape muscle by eating the right foods and doing the right type of training, little and often. Training 4, 5, maybe 6 times a week at an absolute push, but for 60 minutes a day. It's the other 23 hours, 7 days a week that the real change comes from, and that's the amount of food you're eating. And to quite simply say to do more means you're going to lose more is wrong. To do more will hinder, and in order to lose more, you need to rebalance and then reset. Rebalance and then reset. It's a constant cycle of manipulating nutrition and training together and getting them on a level play and then separating them out, level play and then separating them out. You really cannot lose more weight by doing more. I mean, it's just such a dangerous place to go. And yeah, I will put my hands up and say that getting closer to comp prep, I am very much one for saying, oh my god, I need to get more steps in, and oh, I need to do an extra hour on the treadmill today and stuff like that. But for me, in that respect, it comes from low intensity steady state, and my weight-based training switches from strength and hypertrophy to quite often volume, and the sessions get shorter. Right now, when you're far out, you do 60 to 90 minute sessions. Some people do longer. By that kind of coming in stage, you're only doing about 45-minute sessions, so you need to balance out in other places with lower impact of activity that's going to have less stress on the body. Now at that stage, by that point, my food is really, really low and I am bumbling along, and anyone who knows me knows that by that point, I'm not happy. Well, I am happy, but I don't look happy. I look drained, I look fatigued, and my energy's not controlled, and it's not a state that I enjoy to be in for a prolonged period of time. And it's not a state that I would ever recommend you get into unless you have the end goal of stepping on stage or a photo shoot or a really big goal that requires you to be in that peak condition where you can leave no stone unturned. And that's, I think, often where messages in the industry can become quite misled, and people get confused because they say, well, you're doing 10, 20, 30,000 steps a day and you're training this amount of times and you're doing a HIIT, and you just keep doing more as you get closer. And that's not actually always the case. We are always thinking about our food, and we are measuring our activity in and around our food. And quite frankly, if I'm burst and can't deal with life one day, I'd leave the steps. I do, because my health still comes first, and I know that I'm pushing these boundaries as far as I can. But there are boundaries and there are barriers and there are things that at the end of the day I have to take into consideration. And I know that if I had burnout, that's going to have a negative effect on me. And this can be a really difficult situation for a normal person, the person who just wants to lose some weight and feel a little bit fitter and lose some body fat, because you do see these people doing lots and lots of activity and you feel like, well, if they're doing it, I need to do it too. And it's so far from true. It's a completely different circumstance, and you really do need to look at the wider picture, the time frame to your end goal, and how you can get there as safely and as sustainably as possible. Not how you can just get there and then rebound, feel like shit, crash out, burn out, have no muscle gains, feel like a wet noodle, hate everyone. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Full stop, end of sentence. Like, you're meant to be happy. Life is good. Life is meant to be lived, whatever your quote is, YOLO. Yeah, you just need to stop thinking about doing more to get a greater loss, because that's not going to get you there. There are so many other factors you need to start to weigh up, and you really need to change that mindset from doing more is going to make you get there quicker, because it's not. It's definitely not, and it's going to be damaging in the long run if you don't have the right support and the right guidance and just someone there to hold your hand and pull you through and say, mate, you're doing that wrong, you need to do it better, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to think about these things. I have that. I have someone that pulls me out and says, X, Y, and Z needs to happen here. We need to factor in health priority, and we need to take into account X, Y, and Z as we move through. Like, you gotta be accountable, yeah. And you gotta change that mindset. You cannot do more to lose more. It's not gonna work. stop it. Just stop it, okay? You gotta balance it out. 6 hours exercise a week is sufficient, as long as you're walking here and there. Yeah, you just gotta balance it. Eat better. Stop blaming the food. You're the one that puts the food in your mouth. That's all I'm saying. Okay, as always, if you need any help, you know where I am. Reach out. And if I've said anything there that you're like, hang on, you're lying, or you disagree with anything I've said, feel free. Let me know. Have a stab. That's what I believe. Call me whatever you want.